So my room suddenly had to become a studio space, a just workspace, like an office space, a place to sleep, a place to relax, and a place to actually work out as well. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elyse and I'm a recent graduate who is sharing her post-grad successes and stresses with the internet. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you a bit of a room tour and telling you about how I moved back into my childhood home after graduating virtually because of everything that's been going on. And I'm also going to share with you some tips for how to make your own space a more productive place to work in and a more comfortable place to just live in. While I have graduated and I will not be returning to any sort of college in the fall, I know that this transition was really difficult on pretty much everyone who had to move home, and fingers crossed for things going well in the fall. But just in case they don't really go as planned, I wanted to make this video to kind of share some ways that you could, make a good environment for studying and getting stuff done. But I hope this video can help you no matter what. When I had to move home because of the virus over spring break, I was wrapping up my art and communication majors. I basically had a lot of work to do for my senior studio class and a lot of work for my senior show, which ended up being online. And I also had to finish up writing my honors thesis in communication. So my room suddenly had to become a studio space, a just workspace, like an office space, a place to sleep, a place to relax, and a place to actually work out as well. So when I got back to Austin, I immediately started unpacking things. And I changed things around and I cleaned my room because I know how much my space it impacts my life and my well-being and my productivity. And thinking about it too, I probably spend about 20 hours a day in my room, so I really want this to be a really good space for me to feel comfortable in and get a lot of work done. Now, I would consider myself very skilled when it comes to room decoration, room organization, and that's just because I've done it so many times in every space that I live in. It's just a form of productive procrastination for me. I try to find the most optimal way to design all of my rooms for the best experience to live in them. Unfortunately and fortunately, I am pretty sure that my current setup that I have in my room is the most optimal that I can with all of the furniture I had to shove into my room after moving back in. So yeah, I mentioned all the different roles that I needed my room to play, and I arranged my room to make all of these happen. Let me break it down for you. But first we have my studio space, and this is where I got all of my artwork done that I needed to do for my senior show. My concentration was in drawing / watercolors, kind of what I ended up doing all of my projects on. And this drafting table that has always permanently been in my room is a really great space to do that. I had hung up this little tapestry that I got a few years ago when I was a freshman from my college, and I just put it up there, and it's really cute and it kind of adds a little bit of a difference to the space. It makes it look a little different. I have all my art supplies kind of organized below this area, and I have just my main desk. And here's another kind of tip if you're an art student or if you're having to do artwork in your room. I work on boards primarily. These are masonite boards, and I do this because I have to stretch my watercolor paper onto it so that it doesn't buckle whenever I am doing paintings. But if I were also doing more drawings, I would want to use the same system. Basically, by having these boards and being able to move them on and off your desk, you can clear up that space for more different types of projects or work if you need to change things up, or if you just want to kind of clear things out of the way. You can get them from Home Depot. So my office space. So here's my desk. At the time, I didn't have this new fancy Mac, which I'm so excited about. That was my little graduation gift to myself / just an investment into my my future career as a graphic designer or freelance or whatever. And so this office space kind of has it's faced towards the wall, and I have my bulletin board above it where I keep track of little different things, and I have calendars and some pictures on it. And I really like this space for getting work done, and I like that it's separate from my studio space. The next space I want to talk about is my workout space. Now, I usually just go on walks every morning to get my exercise in, but I also do like to stretch a lot. And so my workout space is just this patch of the floor. But what's really important to me is to keep this patch of the floor clean and open and available for me to get in a little workout if I want to. So next is my relaxing space. This is this little corner of my room where I have my comfy chair, and it's kind of interesting how this part is set up. I was just really trying to make a little, it was like a jigsaw puzzle of trying to fit things in and make it a comfortable little nook of my room. And so it's basically just my chair and this little ottoman, I guess, this little cube, and a little rug that I actually took from my bathroom that I had in my college apartment. And I also have like my little TV on top of it that is really good for, it kind of encloses the space a little more too. So that was just a nice little extra perk. I have a little nightstand, little table there as well for my books and my journals. And so obviously my next little space is my sleeping space, and this is where I sleep. It's my bed. I love it. I love my bed, and I love that it is kind of in its own space, and I always make sure to make my bed every morning and kind of stay out of it as much as I can during the day, so I'm getting my work done in these other designated places and not wanting to just sleep, and so I can enjoy my bed more. Now that I've given you the overview of what this video is about and kind of my room and my situation, let's get into some tips. So as you could maybe take from my introduction about the different spaces that I needed, my first major tip is to divide your spaces. And don't worry, there are different ways of doing this. You don't have to buy a little partition or something, or have a really huge room to be able to move stuff around in and make these little areas. I have some tips that are both physical and visual that could help you create more of a divide in your different types of workspaces. So you can do this kind of separation visually or physically, as I said. One tip for doing things physically is that I like to turn spaces away from each other, like I kind of mentioned about not wanting to kind of see my bed or be near my bed if I'm getting work done. And so if you have the opportunity or the option to have your desks facing away or in the other corner of the room from your bed and have that be your designated workspace and not get any work done in your bed, then I think that's a really good way of kind of having kind of a physical visual cue of this is my workspace, this is not my sleeping space. But a way that you could do things more visually is having different lighting for different situations. You know, say if you only have one desk in your room, which is most people, but if you have like one desk in your room, then you could have maybe like two different lamps. You could steal a lamp from somewhere else in your house and have one lamp that you use for, you know, your studio time and one lamp for working time, or just using light for a visual cue for a different type of work. You could also have different candles. I know people suggest you like smell or you light one candle when you're like doing studying, so you can kind of trigger that memory or that feeling of studying, and it's kind of the same thing. You could just have different smells for different occasions, and I found that this works pretty well for me. Another tip I have for making your room and space just a good and productive area for yourself is to keep it clean. And I know everyone's probably telling you that, and maybe you agree, maybe you don't want to do it, but personally for me, if I see any clutter or mess, I just can't get anything done. I want to clean that first, so I keep my room very clean. So yeah, also when you initially move into the space, try to declutter if you can. I would really suggest that. I came out of this round of moving home and decluttering with several bags of trash that I just needed to get rid of, so do some of that. And also, but have your supplies available for you in terms of, again, like if you have an art desk or an art area, have them available and not all tucked away so you can, you know, continue to be productive and want to use your supplies if you see them on your desk. I have this clear little mason jar that I keep all my pens in. I prefer to be able to see them and access them easily, but instead of being strewn across the desk, they are in one area. Another kind of tip that I have is to decorate a little. Printing out calendars and stuff is something that I have recently started to do, and I feel like that has helped with my productivity and just making me feel more accomplished about the things that I've done. As we know, the days kind of seem to all fall together, and they're, you know, what day is a Monday? What day is a Thursday? What day is a weekend? Does it even matter? All of the days are the same. And so when it comes to, when it becomes like that, then it's really nice to have reminders of all the progress you're making and that days are actually passing by and you're improving and learning and working. I also like adding plants to my room. I have 2 plants in my room right now that they just give a little bit of green to the room. Plants are also something that are more dynamic, that can change and can add energy to your room, and can also, you have to take care of them. So they're something a little more active that you have to put effort into, and that can be really nice if, you know, like I said, things are feeling very stagnant. Another important thing for me is having a lot of light in my room. I need a lot of natural light to stay happy, but just light in general. I think that these past few months would have been a lot more difficult if I didn't have the light that I have in my room, if I was in a more of a dark setting. My last tip that I have, piece of advice, is to get outside of your room, actually. If you don't have to eat in your room, don't do it. If you don't have to read in your room, if you prefer to go read outside, do that instead. You know, these are just some tips for if you have to be in your room, how to make it the best place you can. And you know, we can't go to like Starbucks and go get our work done there right now, really. And so we have to work in our rooms and things like that. But if you do have more spaces or more opportunities to move your work somewhere else, do that. So your room is just more of a special, positive place for you to work in. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that this advice and these tips helped. I think that really dividing your room is really important, and hopefully you're able to kind of do this in your own space. Thank you so much for watching. I have a podcast also on this channel that's called The Draw Pod, where I draw for like 15 to 20 minutes and I talk about something. And so I just wanted to shout that out. It comes out on Saturdays. But anyway, please like and subscribe and comment if you have any thoughts about this, and let me know what you think. Thanks so much. Bye.